Hi, my name is Rachel Weston, and I'm here to talk to you about the release planning meeting. So why do Agile teams hold release planning meetings? It's an opportunity for the team to make a commitment to the completion of a set of the highest ranked product backlog items for the upcoming release cycle. It also gives a team a chance to synchronize on the objectives and a chance to see and think about the big picture that they're contributing towards. So what do you need to get started? Well, you need a ranked product backlog. The product backlog is the responsibility of the product owner. So it's their job to show up with a ready and ranked and described product backlog for the release planning meeting. However, good product owners always rely on the input from the people who will be building the product, that means the delivery team, to help them in ranking that backlog so that it can be successfully delivered. In addition to a ranked product backlog, you also need a vision and a roadmap that reflect the market and organizational objectives that you will be trying to achieve. So now you've got what you're doing there and what you need to get started. So what's the agenda for this meeting? Well, we start with a review of the vision and the roadmap. This is our chance to remind ourselves of what the big picture really is. Next, we want to review our architecture and any technical information that we need to understand what our technology baseline is for this release. Once we've done that, we want to set a release name and theme. These help a team coalesce around a goal and also help give us focus as we think about the stories that we're going to be working on. Next, we want to review the team's velocity from previous iterations and releases, as well as the iteration schedule for this release. Remember that a release time box is made up of a series of iterations. We want to make sure that we know how many iterations will be in this release and when each of those start and end, so we can think about how to best distribute our stories and work across those iterations. Before we start to look at the stories, it's important for teams to review their definition of done. We're going to be providing estimates on stories to determine how much work we can commit to, and our estimates need to be based on a shared definition of what it means to be done. Once we've done all of that work, we're ready to think about what we're going to work on. So the product owner presents to the team those stories that are highest ranked in the backlog that they would like the team to work on in the release. The team, together with the product owner, review the stories, and the team provides high-level estimates, typically in the form of story points, to those stories. Any story that is too big to be completed in a single iteration needs to be broken down into smaller stories so that it can be distributed appropriately. As the team and the product owner are going through the process of reviewing the stories, breaking them down, and distributing them to the different iterations, they will be validating the acceptance criteria so that everybody is clear on what the work is. Once the distribution of stories across all of the iterations in the release has been completed, the team should look back and identify any issues, concerns, dependencies, and assumptions that have come up in the release planning meeting. It's a really good idea to have people sign up to be monitors of those items throughout the release so nothing falls through the cracks. Once all of that work is done, we're ready to commit, and we have a great release plan to execute in the next release cycle. So how long should this take? Well, all teams have different release cycles depending on market needs, what the rest of their company is doing, and other factors. But a good rule of thumb is if you're running a quarterly release cycle, meaning one release time box each quarter of the year, you can expect your release planning meeting to take up to 2 days. This depends a bit on how much preparation you have done. So how well groomed is your product backlog? Have you already sized some of the items in it? And also how many people and teams are contributing to the release planning meeting. It's important to note that although the release planning meeting I've just described is typically for a single team, many organizations run release planning meetings where multiple teams plan their releases at the same time in order to identify assumptions and dependencies across teams. So that's the release planning meeting. Thank you.